Evening, everybody. We have no audience tonight, but that's okay. They couldn't hear me anyway. Today is Wednesday, August 7th, 2019. Because of the election, we've got a Wednesday board meeting tonight. It's a regularly scheduled meeting, the Marquette Township Board, and if you would join us in the pledge, I appreciate it.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. It is 6:30, if I didn't say that also. Randy, roll call, please.
Trustee LaRue. Here. Trustee Marks. Present. Trustee Everson.
Here.
Trustee Wiegand.
Here.
Treasurer Johnson. Here. Clerk Rattari is here, and Supervisor Durant.
Here.
Staff present is Manager Gerard and our legal counsel, Roger Zappa.
Okay. We have no public, so that gets rid of 2 and 3.
Oh, actually, there's,
They want to read that?
yeah, actually, so it'll be written public comment. It's from Todd Nordyke. He's a member of our events committee, so.
It's not dated either, so for the record, you'll want to date it.
Yeah, it'll be, well, I'll just mention it in my minutes that it's public comment written from Todd Nordyke.
Okay.
And it says, Dear Marquette Township Board, our efforts together were effective and our township community event knocked it out of the ballpark. And it was for Community Events Day at Lions Field. We began with a good initial ceremony with Parks and Rec on our future vision on our Lions Field. We enjoyed an informative, good-looking lineup of police and rescue gear. We had a good softball, folks, and a clean competition. We had good radio and web coverage and Walt and Sunny 101.9 FM and Media Brews 8 stations. A fantastic bouncy house package with double trouble. An Energizer bunny cast of aggressive face painters that kept going and going and going. A freshly painted white stage with a 1 to 2 hour sound man creating warm sound with speakers and subs. 3 rock bands and a solid attractive music from the Crunge, Flat Broke Blues Band and the Ramblers. And best of all, delicious brats, dogs, and burgers from our local grocery store, Super One Foods. We estimate that around 300 people in the park every hour, with 150 plus or minus families on the west side, and 150 plus or minus adults on the softball tennis court side. Again, on the behalf of the events committee, our sponsor and volunteers, you as a board have caught the vision of letting the world know that Marquette Township is the best place to work, live, and play. All the best, Todd Nordyke.
Very nice. I'm glad it was a success. Okay, that was public comment, Todd. The consent agenda, we'll need approval of. You want to do that, check that check out?
Yeah, on the consent agenda, we are removing check. I gotta find it here.
Let's see where that is.
Yeah. Was for Fox of Nagani or Marquette. You gonna see what number it is here. Oh, the check number is, let me get it here, it's kind of small. 158244. It's for Fox and Marquette for a 2019 Ford F-50 truck, and it's a $31,000 expenditure. We are going to remove that from the agenda. The manager will comment on that, why we're doing that.
Want me to do that now?
Yeah, if you would like to.
Yeah. Basically, what it amounted to is we have one of our public works trucks. It's the 2002 Silverado that has about 83,000 miles on it, and its body is in pretty rugged shape just from basically a long-term use. Facing some fairly significant repairs on that vehicle, so I authorized the Public Works Superintendent to acquire bids for a potential replacement, and went a little bit further than was supposed to. It needs to come back to you, so it'll be on your agenda for your next meeting to consider the replacement. So that's why we're pulling it off.
So do we need to have the corrected amount of what we're approving in the consent agenda? To be exact.
I can correct, yeah, it's gonna be what the amount is minus that 31, it's a 31,500 and some dollar expenditure.
That check number that you read was not in there. Oh, two, okay.
Yeah, it's in there,
All right.
It's split in half,
yeah.
two different half
Well,
the
it's
water, half
two
the
accounts,
wastewater.
yeah.
So that will be coming to you at your next board meeting for consideration. That's why we're pulling it out of here.
So I will make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the appropriate amount adjusted minus that check.
Okay, and before we vote, let me read it real quick, too. Approval of the regular meeting minutes of July 16th, and then the bills payable with the adjustment. So right now, it says $100,254.51, so that it will be reduced, and Randy will put in the corrected number. And then committee and other reports, the road committee agenda for August 7th, the utility billing calendar for August, communication from the Marquette County Solid Waste Management Authority special meeting action, July 31st, and the area wastewater treatment facility advisory board meeting minutes of June 20th. So now we can have a or nay. We have a motion on the floor. We just need to approve it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And actually, since we only have one agenda item, basically, there's probably no conflicts of interest.
I'll move to accept the agenda as presented.
Except that we were going to pull the board committee updates off too. That's for the next meeting. That's not critical. We can just skip over it. Doesn't
Yeah,
necessarily
we'll
have to
just,
amend the agenda.
yeah, we'll just skip over that.
Okay. All right. All in favor then?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And no privilege comment for board education. No community linkage, unless somebody's got something to share. Are they hearing anything in the community? Anybody? I haven't had any phone calls or anything. A well-oiled machine, I tell you. We're just rolling down the road here. Okay. Organizational performance, which has some of our draft reports. We've got the Iron Ore Heritage Rec Authority agenda from July 24th, and their draft minutes from June 26th. Marquette County Solid Waste Management draft minutes of July 17th. That's just to be read. So our discussion tonight is 9A, consider comment submittal regarding Semco Energy Gas Company case number U-02.
We have no board, no committee updates?
That's next meeting. Yeah, we're skipping over that. I might have
Okay.
said that a little too fast for you.
Okay.
Anyway, the case number is U-20-2015. So, Randy, do you want to give us some background, or you think it's self-explanatory on the,
Well, there's not a whole lot of background for us to give. Basically, what it amounts to is that Semco is asking for a rate increase, basically, and I put it in the packet for you to take a look at to see if you wish to make any comment with regard to the proposed rate increase. You do have until, let's see, what's the deadline for responding?
I think it was passed, I think it's passed.
No, not yet. The hearing is Monday, August 12th, potential hearing. And you,
I think it was August 5th, but I think you could still file something if you'd like.
so if you, go ahead, Ernie.
The biggest thing, reading through it, it really doesn't tell you what it's gonna cost anybody.
no,
It's
it's
just
basically just a gross dollar amount.
Yeah, and, I read something here in the last couple of weeks about that, and something like $7 a month per customer, or something like that. It's gonna be an increase of that.
We could have staff type up a letter, or me, or something, if you want to, but I don't know what.
The
Power would have.
the indication for participation is that you could participate right up to the date of the hearing.
Well, I'd make a motion that we direct the manager to write a letter, I guess what, disputing the rate increase, or disputing the rate increase, and then give him the authority to send it. He can just give us a copy of it.
Dave,
How are we disputing it if we don't really know what?
I was just gonna say, do you wanna say, like, because we don't even know what our people are gonna pay, or?
Yeah, well, I
You have to
mean,
do that
it's,
in the letter, explain that, you know.
yeah, there's not enough information for a rate increase, I guess. You know, we don't,
I think it's appropriate to do that before we pass gas.
Ask what it's gonna cost us.
so I guess I don't know if it's appropriate to dispute it, but I guess maybe asking more information on it. And if it's going to increase, maybe dispute it. Probably it's not gonna make any difference, but we'll
But
be
you
on
know-
record anyway.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you know yourself, if we had 10 people comment on something, you'd pay a little bit more attention to it. So if everybody were to tell them they didn't think it was appropriate, maybe they would look at it a second time, you don't know. I don't know. Well, we have a motion, did we have a second?
I'll support it.
Okay.
What exactly are we? Are we just
Ask for more information.
disputing, or are we just disputing it because there's lack of
I
information?
would say disputing it for lack of information. Would you agree with that?
Well, I would suggest that, you know, just right out of the bottom paragraph on the first page is basically that you would ask the administrative law judge to consider not approving the Sumco request.
Due to lack of information. Because there isn't much here.
I don't even think you would have to go that far, because they're saying, you know, it's gonna be somewhere between 54,038 and $755,900. Basically, I think you could simply take the
Based-
position that as a local governing body, you request that requested alteration not be approved on behalf of the residents.
I like the.
You have to write the letter.
Residents.
Yeah, that would be good. That would be my amended motion. On behalf of the residents, we don't.
I support it.
Because they're not all gonna write, you know, these people don't have the time or the knowledge or the ability to write to them, do any kind of a campaign.
And again,
That's our job.
there's no justification in here for any increase. It's just, we're gonna do it.
Well, you know, it's gotta have something to do with that line they're putting in.
Yeah, well, it's for 2019 and 2020, so it's carrying it in through 2020, so.
It doesn't say we have to send anything or.
Let's be on record, not in favor of it.
And then too, if the residents ever say, well, gee, you know, our township never, they just went along with this. So at least we'd be on file as saying, no, we're not just going along with it. We don't think it's appropriate. So I think that's good. Are we good? So all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
We'll get that faxed in tomorrow.
Okay, we still don't have any public. Any announcements, anything anybody wants to share? Randy?
Give you a quick wrap-up on the election held yesterday. It was a very low turnout for us. There was only one item on our ballot, which was the Marquette County Care Facility millage. We had a total of, in precinct 1, we had a total of 176 people. Out of that, 92 were absentee, 84 were in person. Precinct 2, we had total 114, 76 absentee and 38 in person, which precinct 1, it's a 7% turnout. Precinct 2, it's a 10% turnout, so around 9% for the township. Everything went well in the election, no problems, no machine issues. So everything was good, and wished more folks would have came, but that's, I guess, for next year.
Just a warm-up for August. Yes, John?
I'd like to add to Clerk Retiree's comments that he was here on Saturday, following the state mandate that we be available, and that went exceptionally well as well. And I'd like to compliment our clerk and our clerk's office for the outstanding way that they handled that. And even though there wasn't a lot of traffic, the chance for somebody to come and register if they wanted to was made available on a Saturday, on a very quiet day. But they were here for the full day. And I think that stands well for the township, and we should be pleased that we have that kind of attention being paid to state mandates. They don't pay for them, but they ask for them.
Yeah, and I'd like to compliment our election workers. They did a great job as usual, and I'm always looking for more, so if you know anyone that would like to be an election worker, contact the clerk's office, but we do have a good crew right now, and a few folks couldn't be there because it was really, this wasn't a planned election. It was just kind of a spur of the moment from the county, but we're going to have 3 elections next year, one in March, one in August, and one in November, so it will be a busy year for elections next year, and a lot more busier.
Anything else to share?
Lynn, coming out of the road committee tonight, we sort of discussed the construction here. You know, and overall, with 34,000 cars going by there, I think they're doing a pretty good job. You have to stop and watch what's going on. We all had a couple of jokes about people doing different things, and you know, it's just, but they have to stop and realize what's going on and watch. And the people who are traveling, who know what they're doing, just be aware of the other ones around us. You know, because some people get confused and turn the wrong way and stuff like that, and they run stoplights, but be aware. But so far, I don't think we have any accidents. So I think they're doing a good job.
John, again?
I just have a comment to make. The issue that will be discussed in our closed session obviously cannot be discussed in advance of that session. However, I think a report from our staff representatives who attended that meeting would be useful for the board to review. The number of people who were there, who were over 20 of the petitioners' neighbors were there in opposition. And I think it would be of interest to the township board and add to their information about the unrest that prevails following the outcome of that meeting.
Okay, anything else? Okay, manager's report.
Just kind of dovetailing on Todd's public comment. He was unable to be here this evening. He's out of town. Todd is the chair of our Community Events Committee. He's also the vice chair, I believe, of the Business Association, Township Business Association. And basically, we had couldn't have asked for a nicer day for it. Saturday was absolutely perfect. Temperature was in the low 70s, and it had a nice breeze all day long. No rain. It was a perfect day for the kind of outdoor events that we had. Publicly, we have to thank Super One Foods. They stepped up and did a terrific job all day long from 10 in the morning until 10 at night, providing food options for folks. And basically what that typically amounts to is they charge a very small fee. It was not very expensive at all. I heard several people commenting about how it was probably the cheapest meal that they'd bought for their family in a long time. But at any event, they basically just cover their costs, and then what any excess is beyond their costs, they donate back to the township for maintenance of the field and for operating, doing some of the things that we do with the events. So they've been a great partner, and they did a terrific job. Had very good selection. The music was terrific. We had the Crunge was playing. We had Flat Broke Blues Band, and that's hard to get that out all the time. It really is. Flat Broke Blues Band were playing, and then the Ramblers as well. So there was a good mix of music. Everybody that I talked to was having a lot of fun, had a terrific time. The kids were certainly enjoying the inflatables that we had set up, and the face painting, as had been mentioned previously by Todd. It was just a lot of good activity. I left about 4:30 to go take care of my canine duties at home. And there was kind of like a changing of the guard. There was a shift. The inflatables went down at 4 o'clock, so the kids were kind of starting to filter out. But the night crew was starting to come in and listen to the music for the rest of the evening. So Todd's count was a little higher. Myself and another member of the community events committee were kind of keeping tabs, and it looked to me like we were averaging about 200 people in and out over the course of the day. Fire department had a great display set up. It was pretty popular with the folks. Sheriff's department was there for the day. That was his assignment for the day, so he was there. And it just came off really well, I thought. It was just a good time, and it's unfortunate that some of our residents missed the opportunity to be there, but those that were there had a good time and enjoyed it. With regard to the traffic, I've heard a number of comments about the abrupt lane changes, and I guess the only thing that I'd have to say about that is I've driven it numerous times, and if you're going 40 miles an hour, which is the posted speed limit, they're not abrupt at all. If you choose not to do that, that's at your own risk, and you're cited for whatever occurs in there that you cause. The most confusing part is if you want to get into Walmart, the way it's set up now. There is one lane traffic going in, one lane traffic coming out. Basically, there's a new paved entrance to Walmart that goes across the front of the store and up, in only. And then the former tire lube drive on the east side is now only one way out. But other than that, I think it's, if you're going 40 miles an hour and paying attention to what you're doing, not talking on your phone, it's not that bad. And it's a very short stretch. It's basically from Best Buy to Walmart. Once you get east of Walmart, you're back to normal traffic at that point. So it's not that bad. Just pay attention to what you're doing. Observe the speed limit. It only takes, you're only talking about a couple of more seconds to go 40 miles an hour instead of 50. So that's pretty much it. I apologize that the July 9th corridor committee minutes were not in your packet. They just came today, actually. So I did put them at your work sites, your desk sites, and they have been uploaded to the agenda online. So it is out there. That's pretty much all that I had, unless you have any questions.
Randy?
Not a question, a comment. Just before I came tonight, the first thing on the TV6 News was the 40% increase in the County Road 492 traffic due to the construction in the corridor. And Sheriff Seibert was on there informing the travelers that just quit speeding, and they will be cited for speeding on that stretch of road if they do that. So just a warning to the residents of that area and the drivers that the Sheriff's Department is stepping up patrol on 492 to catch speeders during this time of construction.
And the concern that I heard early, I did not see that broadcast, but the concern that I heard early was with tailgating and with improper passing along 492. So like I said, it's going to be a couple of minutes longer. It's not that big a deal. Observe the speed limits and the traffic conditions.
Anything else for the manager? We only had one motion to review.
Well, three actually. The
Well, that's true.
consent agenda was approved with the minus the one check. The regular agenda was approved, and the third motion was to direct the manager to write a letter on behalf of the residents in not supporting the gas company's rate increase.
It's actually a recovery request.
Yeah. Recovery
likely
request.
equate to a rate increase, but they're characterizing it as a recovery request, cost recovery.
Anything for the next agenda that anybody needs to have or see? We'll put the vehicle and that check on there. Excuse me.
The vehicle will be on the next agenda.
If something else comes up, let us know. Oh, you will have, or no, I guess we won't have. We're gonna save the, all the definitions and the format and layout and stuff for our first budget meeting. Okay?
What are we saving the CIP request for?
Is planning gonna get, they get those first.
Haven't got them yet.
Haven't seen a thing.
Well, they just started the budget process.
Okay. Letting you know, boss.
Do you even have any yet, Randy? Did Kirk give you anything?
Say again?
For, CIP yet? You just met last week, right?
Well, we just started
Department
meeting,
heads.
yeah, we just started meeting this week, but as it sits right now, I'm not aware of any new CIP requests that would be coming from Kirk.
Any board member comment?
I just have one question on the corridor advisory committee group. Did you say, on the Range Bank site is being redeveloped? Do you have any information on that? Because I know they're closing that site down and transferring all into city and out there.
We don't know who's going in there or what it's being reconfigured for at this point. They've not divulged that as yet.
They are taking the building down.
Oh, they're taking the building down?
Yep.
That's a good building.
Well, they got a different plan. But the bank official I talked to did not know what that was yet, just that it would be raised.
Okay.
Two corners, two big corners right there open. Yes, sir, Dan?
I just wanted to take a second to compliment our fire department and their actions that they did with the city of Marquette on the Pine Ridge apartment fire. Everything went extremely smooth. A lot of people needed to be evacuated via stairways, with and without wheelchairs. And it was quite a experience, I guess, to be part of it. And everybody pitched in, all the departments that were there pitched in, and the whole operation went very well. Nobody got hurt. Damage was to a minimum, and hopefully we can get all the residents back in real soon.
I heard the cats were the biggest problem, trying to get them out.
Trying to catch the cats.
They didn't want to leave.
No. So,
That's good that nobody got hurt.
yes.
I was going to comment on our last meeting, we had some residents here that were saying some things about the fire department and the plans that we'd like to make moving forward. And I actually had a sheet at home and I left it on the kitchen table, of course. And what, I don't know, Randy and I talked about it. In something like 20 minutes, there were 8 calls for the township. And some were joined, and some were, pickups. They weren't all like fires or anything, super dangerous. But I think that's the point that we were trying to get across the last meeting when we were saying that we'd like to expand the department. It's not because nobody's not showing up. It's not because their equipment is faulty. It's not because they don't have anything to do or they're not trained. We are being inundated, and it's not because of anyone's fault. It's because we've got probably 35,000 or 40,000 cars going by here every day, and there are more tourists. Everybody knows you can't get in the grocery stores, you can't get in the gas stations, you can't, we got a gazillion people here, and things are happening, and we need to be proactive. When that pager goes off, it's at 7 o'clock at night. If we can get to somebody's house 5 minutes faster, why would we not want to do that? I don't understand that mentality.
Exactly.
It's not
I don't
because we're
either.
doing anything wrong. We're trying to be proactive and help our people. That's the whole purpose of the ambulance, of the more full-time people, of the more equipment that we're looking at in the future.
We're
We
growing-
want to be, we
growing,
want to be
aging
there
community.
for our people. That's what we get paid to do. And I really took offense to their representation that we're wasting money or wasting time, or our people are not doing their jobs.
There was a lot of shooting from the hip. They had no facts.
None of those things are a case. And as I said to them, for the last 2 or 3 months, we've been talking about this, and we have the statistics to show why this is a good idea and how we can afford to pay for it. So I just had to throw that in.
On that comment, one resident did say, you know, they didn't like the fact they're going to have to pay more money, but they did ultimately say it was for a good thing. So, I mean, they understood what it's for.
Good.
Yeah. Well, and we did have one good comment, and 2 not so good. Randy, I think Ernie was first.
Going back to fire department and the ambulance and that, I had to utilize them last Wednesday evening and that, and calling 911, and it was with 5 to 7 minutes. First 3 people showed up, got in there, looked at my wife and that, and he says, no, we can't do it, we need more help. They made a call, and all of a sudden there was another 4 individuals there, and they got her into the ambulance, into the hospital and that, and I would have to say within 25, 30 minutes she was at ER and that, once they got the people there and got her down and into the ambulance and that. So it was, it's something, you're sitting there and you can't do a thing. You're just sitting there watching them, and they knew what was going on, they knew what had to be done, and I just got out of their way. And they had to go out the back way and down the steps in the back, and they just moved the kitchen table out of the way, they opened the doors and moved the stuff on the deck out of the way, and they just went. And there was no question about it, and they were gone, and that too, so.
They're very professional.
Yes.
Great, yeah, for my mother-in-law too, it was just, getting her to the emergency room. Randy, I think you were gonna comment.
There was, and 2 people asked me about it, and there was a written comment, basically insinuated that we have people sitting around doing nothing when they respond. There's a reason we have them respond and to be at the hall, and the example that you started with was the back-to-back calls. We had 4 separate responses. First one was the ambulance, the second one was the white basic truck, the third one was the orange basic response truck, and then we still had a 4th. Now, had we not had part-time folks there manning the radio in the ready room, we would not have had the staff to cover that. That's why we have them respond. It's because we have backup calls, and we need to have staff in the hall when those calls come in. So, there was the insinuation that a bunch of people show up and they just sit around and get paid for doing nothing. That is not accurate at all, not even close. That may have been in the past. Some of the folks may have done that, but not with the crew we have now. So, there is a very specific reason that we have them respond as many as they can when that first siren goes off, because we do have backup calls.
We had back-to-back calls today.
Twice.
Yeah, that's right,
Oh.
too.
It happens quite often.
Forget who had the hand up. Go ahead.
You wonder, Marquette Township, I think, and Dan said that we're growing out here. We got more and more people. Marquette City is growing. And the comment was that the hospital's so close, but when I see the ambulance heading down M28 or heading out 41 South, they're gonna be gone. What happens when one of our residents need them? How often how long will we have to wait? So I think it's a good move. It's just good for the residents, and it's even better if you're waiting for that ambulance to come to your house.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Randy?
As I always say, sometimes you don't understand until you need it.
Exactly.
When you need it, you wish it was there sooner.
The only 2 negative responses that I have heard in this whole deal have been the 2 people that were in here voicing their opinion. That's the only people that I've heard say anything negative about it.
Exactly. I haven't had any,
Yeah, me either. John?
I think we were responsible in our reaction, and we did what we always do. When people come and want to have input, we listen respectfully, and immediately following the presentation that was made, that was really extensive, I thought, after they made their comments, we moved, as we always do, to do what's right. And we did it quickly. And I think that that speaks well of this board having done enough homework in advance not to let the comments that were made that were perhaps incompetent. We just ignored that and went ahead and did what's right. And that's what we frequently do. But you listen to people who want to make a comment. And that's all we did. Respectfully, we did that. And then we moved quickly, I thought, to give the funds that were needed so that the appropriate decision could be made and the best choice would be made as to how it would be used. But we made the move quickly. So I was proud of the board's action.
Well, and that's still, I mean, we passed it, but that doesn't mean it can't change or get
No,
better, or
no.
it could not happen, but at least we took the action. Anybody else?
If you want to look around just in the UP, what other people are going through from infrastructure to roads and stuff like that, you'll be happy that you made the decision you just did. You know, we made the right decision at the right time. In some of the areas that they're looking at the roads, you see here a comment, we want to do what Marquette Township did, because that was the right thing to do. Our infrastructure, sewer and water, you know, we're going to benefit from it, but if we didn't do it, in the future, they'd have some real problems. So I'm glad we did it, and take the brunt of it if there is any bumps in the road for people comments and that, but you have to understand, we have to think above and beyond what's here today, so.
Last time I talked to Representative Cambenzi, she asked me about the road project and how was that
Yeah,
structured?
she does.
And I gave her the lay of the land and told her what the road committee had done and how, I told her the whole story. So hopefully she can share that with somebody else and another community maybe that needs to do the same thing. And Randy has said numerous times, why can't the state do that? You know, do a 50-50 partnership, or the county or something, and get them all done. It's ridiculous.
We're just waiting for the county to catch on.
Good luck.
Anything else anybody wants to share? Then we need a motion to go into closed session.
Okay, I'll move to go into closed session pursuant to MCL 15.268 subsection E to consult with its attorney regarding trial or settlement strategy in connection with specific pending litigation, but only if an open meeting would have a detrimental financial effect on litigating or settlement position of the public body.
I'll second it.
Clerk Rattari is yes. Trustee LaRue?
Yes?
Trustee Wiegand?
Yes.
Trustee Everson?
Yes.
Trustee Marks?
Yes.
Treasurer Johnson?
Yes.
And Supervisor Durant.
Yes.
Closed session at 7:12 p.m.